It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies. Hello.
Hi.
Beajilu in the building.
Thank you.
From Botswana.
How was Botswana?
Botswana was good. It's a quiet town.
Yeah.
Just very cool, like
Quiet
Abuja.
country.
Sorry. Yes, there are just 2 million people. Yes, the whole country. About 2 million. They have
That's
more
not
cattle. That's why I said a
cattle
town
than
now.
human
Yeah, they have more cattle than humans there. But
They have more cattle.
yeah, it was a powerful program. It was more about a knowledge exchange. So we were a group of professionals from different. They were more science inclined.
Right.
I think I was the only arts woman in the room.
Right.
Coming together to think up solutions
Share
for
knowledge.
different problems in our different countries, and we found out that we almost have the same
issues.
problem, the same issues, which if one country can solve this particular issue in this sphere, it will be like a prototype
They
for
say
the next.
that if Nigeria can
Yeah.
solve the problem, if you can solve our problems, Africa would rise.
Africa will rise.
Please,
for
how
it.
was the food?
The food was good, but they don't have so much, I didn't see anything like plantain. I didn't see, their beans is different from our beans,
real?
and it was...
How's that meat? I heard that meat is really good. Is that correct?
Yes, they have
They're
different
beef
types
because,
of meat.
yeah,
They
because
have
they,
different types, yeah.
That's-
They have there's one they call the kudu. It's another type of meat. I can't describe the animal. Yeah, I saw it at the
you
safari.
need to go and eat that one.
I bought some.
You're eating the tea where you don't understand.
She go and dance there.
Yeah, then I went to dance. I went to show them Lagos style. I was repping your view.
On behalf of Mr. Ugo, we were watching her.
That's good, but it's good to have you
Yes, I
back.
had fun.
I haven't been to any African country and I feel very bad.
Really?
Yes, I haven't.
Yeah, I have.
Any African country.
Considering
I
that
need
you've been
to.
abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't know your country.
This year I'm going to.
your
I'm going to
I've
continent.
done
definitely explore.
Kenya, Ghana. No, not done. Yeah, Ghana, Togo, Republic of Benin. Of course, that
You
one
need
is
to by
nice
road,
too.
because it's very
You need by
interesting.
I haven't even been
I've
to
done
Republic of Benin.
Went to
Ghana,
Ghana.
Right there.
Benin.
Like, when growing up as a
Togo
kid,
and-
we used to go there, Togo and Republic of Benin. My stepmother had a house there.
By road is very good.
No,
very
we
interesting.
need to know our continent. It's not just America, UK, like
opportunities
top.
here.
We need to know our continent. Maybe
How are you doing, Nima? Let me come to
okay.
Nima. How are you?
I'm fine.
Nima wants to
very
know
fine.
Nigeria.
No, me, I'm very interested in knowing Nigeria. So my husband and me were still having the argument until I finished touring Nigeria. I'm not going to African countries again. I've been to Ghana. I wanted to shout out to my younger sister. It was her wedding anniversary yesterday. I chopped beans forget. I'm really sorry, darling. Happy married life.
Ah, fantastic. That's
She's such a young lady I'm proud of. Very proud of her. And I love her marriage too as well.
Ah, fantastic. Tokwe, how are you?
I'm good. My mom sent me to tell everybody that Okadas are still plying the expressway in Mile
Statement
2.
of fact.
That Okada, and then the ones that are plying within the estate are being harassed from Apple Junction. So, and I said, that she felt the bridge was the only part that they are not allowed to ply, but that she saw bikes on the express
Statement of fact.
and nobody was stopping them.
Wow.
But the bikes within the estate are being
stopped.
arrested. So I came to announce, Joe, hold the ones on the expressway, leave the ones within the estate.
So,
and move
fact,
out of the
there's
area.
no enforcement on Badagry Expressway.
That's the
Or
meaning.
bike ban. There's no
You
enforcement.
see, I think they need in stages.
while,
It
yeah.
take a while for eventually
Because
to get there.
if we want, let's do what we need to do. It's a painful process. Let's suffer the suffer and go on. I don't want it. I'm not feeling it, but I know many people that are feeling it. But if we want to do it, and then let's move on.
I like your bracelets though.
Oh, it's a gift. Well, this kind of things I don't.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
If Mama casts that,
Yeah, I
gift or it's
know.
borrowed.
It's really nice.
How was your party?
I could actually buy this. I could actually buy this.
Very true.
on national television.
No, but you say it yourself here now. I'm
Papa
just
doesn't have time.
repeating the obvious.
Hey,
But you
Jesus
normally
Christ.
say it yourself here.
Even
Want
earrings.
it to a sitter. No, but you see, the kind of things, Tokwa doesn't hide that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she
because
says
she's
it
wearing for her
herself,
friends.
yeah.
So it's hey, if I need to borrow, I'll borrow.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy.
Yeah,
Thank
we
God.
can see that.
Thank you to God.
And you're glowing.
Please go on my
As I am
Instagram
approaching,
page.
As in,
I see the
I'm-
pictures.
as
catch
I'm
the
approaching
story.
40, I'm just getting this new confidence.
There's a new life.
There's a new, it's
They
like,
get-
like I'm getting
We're
to that
shutting it down July this year.
You know, it's like, listen, man, it's gonna happen this year. I'm doing 40 and I'm doing it big, in grand style.
You know how we roll.
My flight to the
Open to
moon.
collaborations.
Let's go on a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We're going to start with the nation. Southwest governors to sign Amotekun bill on Friday. Very, very sad story here. 30 burnt to death by Boko Haram in Borno attack. And we have a quote from the governor. 441 trillion naira e-payments made in 90 billion deals. Lawan, others mourn as senator dies at 75. Buhari raises hope for Leah Sharibu's release. Akonde leads APC panel on reconciliation. Okay, let's talk about the Amotekun bill.
So Governor Kayode Fayemi gave a speech on Monday saying that by February 14, all the governors will sign the bill. We remember that this was, Amotekun is a regional security outfit that was launched in January 9. And the Attorney General said that it was illegal. But now every state is now going to sign in a law making it legal in each of these 5 states. And all of them have drafted the bill. They are going to expedite the process of reading the bill within each state of assembly.
Hopefully
and they are expecting that all the governors will get the bill by February 14. So we're looking forward to having them go upstream.
No, they want to sign. They want to sign
By Friday, hopefully.
14.
They've also called back all the lawmakers on recess. So
Everybody
that
should get to
ensure that
work.
everybody, the house is full.
And in a related story, Southeast, they're going to be having a summit on security, and Inspector General is expected to be there also. So hopefully at that point, they can begin to chart the way for their own regional security. Okay, let's move on now to the Punch. 87% Nigeria's poverty is in the north, according to World Bank. Boko Haram kills 30 travelers as military closes Maiduguri gate. Ilaro police SUG president caught during initiation, suspended and impeached. Akonde replaces Lawan as APC Peace Panel Chair. Oyo suspends 13 head teachers, others over illegal fees. Community policing, Inspector General meets Southeast governors. Wednesday, police begin screening. 6 Southwest governors may sign Amotekun bill by Friday. And FG raises panel for Mambila Power Project execution. Let's take the major headline, the World Bank
Exactly.
story.
So the World Bank report that was released, this report was done in 2016, but recently released, has placed the poverty level in the north to 87%. And this inequality, saying that percent accounts for more than half of poverty, poor people in Nigeria as a country, saying that our poverty and poor rates is along geographical lines. They based it on education, the insurgency, and a large number of displaced people. So we have people displaced due to the insurgency of over 2 million. We have people displaced due to climate, due to conflict, and due to natural disasters of over 600,000, and largely in the north again. I like the fact that when the responses started coming, the former presidential candidate of the PDP, the Balarebe Musa, all of them agreed, Junaid and Co, they all agreed that this was because of, a lot of other factors. According to Junaid, cultural values or cultural practices that mitigate against alleviating poverty in the north are prevalent. I like that we do not argue these things and say it's not true. This is very obvious in the face of everything.
Because there's a direct link between the poverty rate and the insecurity challenges. So what would the governors do? We can't fold our hands because they're the ones in charge.
In that same,
Tokwe, there's also a large percentage based on the level of education in that region.
So it's something worth discussing beyond this. But in that same report, interestingly, South-South, in that report had the most significant drop in poverty, south part of the country. So it means that economy there is growing. So that's a good story.
Yeah.
Let's take the teachers being sacked.
Yes, so the Universal Basic Education Board carried out an inspection tour in the primary schools in Oyo State, and they found out that most of the teachers were taking illegal fees. You know, Oyo State has this policy of free education, and so they suspended 13 of the head teachers, 2 classroom teachers, and 1 other head teacher that was suspended. So the governor is saying that he's not going to take, this is an act of indiscipline, and he's not going to take it lightly with them. But I feel that the parents who are paying this money, they are aware that it's free education. For them to comply and pay that amount of money without the report, what if this inspection wasn't carried out? How would they have known? I think
sometimes they are
we all have to,
sometimes the parents are muscled to
their
get
reports.
So basic education is free across the country, really, and people shouldn't be paying for it. So Subeb in Oyo State did the right thing. Let's move on very quickly to Daily Sun. Boko Haram hits hard. 30 killed, scores injured as women kidnapped, amongst others. Fireworks over burial of Kanu's parents. China gives Nigeria tips on coronavirus treatment. Fleeing hyena recaptured in Imo. All kidnapped children will be freed, Buhari vows. A Malibu oil scam, ex-AGF Adoki rearranged, granted bail 50 million naira. Okay, should we talk about Boko Haram now?
There's a story in The Sun. I don't know whether you took it. The BBC.
BBC exposes tactics used by police army to torture Nigerians.
It's a very depressing story for me. So this 17 minutes video done by the BBC revealed a tactic called Tabe, used by our security agents across board, the military, the police, and all other security agents to torture suspects in their police, then most likely men. So they have their arms tied to the back from the elbow to cut off blood and tie them up, put sometimes a log or a big stone on them to push them down to, disconnect their blood. Eventually, some people are put like that over fire, just the way they do asun for a goat. That's how they do humans. So some people eventually die that they are buried. And the story exposed in 2016 how 2 were tortured and 1 person died, and how a police officer was indicted in that report, and that police officer has been promoted in this country by the IGP without any consequence. When a person dies from torture, there should be consequence, except that you could establish that crime, and that was the court's judgment that was on top of that person's head. Nobody should be tortured to death in this country investigating a crime. That person should have his day in court and his innocence or lack of it.
And a lot of these have been happening, but people don't really talk about it. So this documentary,
which is why we should not even sweep that documentary. I didn't like the fact that the Sun put it in a small strip. It should be major headline. We should have it and scream about it, because it could be anybody tomorrow.
Okay, the novel coronavirus treatment, and China has given us how to ensure that we can treat it properly here.
So the Chinese government has distributed an official guide to the Nigerian authorities on how we can handle this coronavirus. They gave us the documents, included a lab test, that's lab test procedure, epidemic updates, risk assessment, diagnosis, treatment protocol, management of close contact, surveillance. A lot.
I'm happy about the information.
It's full, and they are also saying that the cure, it's going on. They have, recorded progress in the cure in the country.
3,000 people
the UK have come out.
Over 1,000 have died.
And
so we don't want this in the country. So I think that the country should focus more on preventing it coming in, as opposed to trying to say what implementing.
The best prevention method, according to the UK, which I want to tilt towards more, is to continue to wash your hands. Let's treat this the way we treated Ebola. It's not wearing the face mask, which is not sufficient in protecting people. So it's always from the touching and putting back on yourself. So make sure whenever you are touching rails and wash your hands.
Even from the airport, we're not checked. We're not asked to wash our hands or anything. I just walked in.
Hands washing is the solution.
That's the problem. So you're coming in from Botswana.
Sign the paper. Do you have cough? No. Do you have? Am I supposed to say I have cough before? That was it. Yeah. We need to do more.
In fact, we've not done anything at all.
So you sign paper saying no dey cough. If I dey cough, I sign no.
Before.
Moving on to Vanguard. You see, it's God that is protecting us in this country. Let's just continue.
You will soon tire for us.
Vanguard. Let's talk about the story of the morning. 30 killed, 18 vehicles, houses burnt in fresh Boko Haram attack. EFCC boss Farida Waziri sacked in national interest, according to Jonathan. Over 1.4 million candidates registered for UTME direct entry in 3 weeks, says JAM. Rumble in Army over pay disparity with Navy and Air Force. And cracks in the NEF as SAF distances board from verdict on federal government. And ECOWAS challenges Nigeria's border closure set-up committee. And there's a lot of story I want to take Vanguard, but go ahead.
Well, it's so annoying that we've gotten so used to hearing people die. Like it's now a normal thing.
I want Nima to give me the exact word for the now. Let's take a comment.
Okay,
what
so
happened exactly
this happened in Auno town at the border of Meduguri, and at that border you have the Meduguri gates closed. So it was closed 5 minutes to 5 p.m., which is when the gates is closed, and Nigerians were trapped outside. And of course, you had exposed those people without defense, and Boko Haram took advantage of them. Of that, 30 people, according to the Vanguard and all other papers except for the Guardian, were killed. 30 people, and a lot of women and children were abducted as well. The insurgents also touched all the vehicles there and houses close to that border and set everything ablaze, which, according to the nation, was worsened by a military tanker that drove into that fire and exploded. So we
can you please read what the governor said?
The governor was saying that since I was inaugurated as a governor in Borno State, Boko Haram has attacked Auno town 6 times. We have made repeated appeals to the military to establish their units in Auno, as soon as it is 5 p.m. and they close the gates and lock the people out. So this is and I like the fact that the governor immediately, this is a governor that is on top of his game. He's already making the same thing that his predecessor did.
All the papers are saying 30, but the Delta commander is saying only 10 killed. But regardless, even if it's one person.
But they said people were sleeping. They touched people while they were sleeping in their houses. And then we'll just move on, and the country will move on, and the president will move on.
And our president is somewhere in Addis Ababa saying that he's going to be fighting Boko Haram hard. And saying that they're going to ensure
our
that
strategy, because let's not say that they are not working, but this strategy is not working.
Yeah, that is it. Now. So if your strategy is not working, you're not working.
The strategy that you have put on ground is exposing people along different areas. So now they've opened the other area in Maiduguri and the other border route.
That's why many groups are saying that they should change the service chiefs.
Besides, their time have expired. Why are they?
Okay, let's take one more. So I have to run. Yes, go ahead. Very quickly.
Yes. So the lower ranks of the army, they are also called the non-commissioned officers, are complaining seriously that there's this disparity in payment with the army and the navy and air force officials, saying that this new minimum wage that they were paid, the army received just 2,000 naira increments. While the Navy, that's their counterparts in the Navy and the Air Force, received about 23,000 naira increment. Most of the time, they have to leave their jobs and join Boko Haram because of how they are treated. That's the army. Somebody in the army speaking up against. So I think they should really look into it.
And finally, there was a committee that was set up in AU during the meeting to discuss this issue of border closure. And the president of, I think, Botswana, I believe, or one of the countries actually is going to be, Burkina Faso actually is going to be handling this committee. And hopefully there'll be a report so that to know exactly why Nigeria is insisting on closing those borders. We have to run. We have no more time. Let me just read very quickly the Nigerian Tribune. PDP rejects federal government's move to get $500 million loan for NTA. And that topic's pretty hot. Minority leadership crisis, don't disobey court order. Lawyers that league one House of Reps, and a Amotekun bill will become law on February 14th, says Fayemi. That's all we can take on front page review. When we come back, we have a few hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So growing up, majority of the Nollywood movies we watched were themed money rituals, especially with the mystical manipulation embedded in them. Recently, Minister of Works and Housing said that Nollywood movies are promoting money rituals and encouraging kidnapping. Do you agree with him? What are your thoughts on this? You can give us a call on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, so the Ayamatangas, the Baba Sales, the idea was that there's a force that you can actually approach to give you money, or you can use your children for money. In fact, the most recent, which we was it the Ramsey Noble movie? I can't remember the movie. Living in Bondage.
Living in Bondage.
Right. So it was about sacrificing the one you love for money. And that's what we all grew up watching. And so any rich man you see, his first son or his first daughter or something was sacrificed. You start trying to monitor and start trying to study the family and then start making erroneous assumptions, I would call them. But what are your thoughts when the Honorable Minister mentioned this? Because he got a few backlashes and some supported him. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. And since you're in Nollywood, it's your industry anyway.
Oh, okay.
Might as well start with you.
Yeah, so when I read his, what he said, I felt like, okay, on one angle, this makes a lot of sense. But being a creative person, I realized that we tell stories in Nollywood, which could either be true life stories or fiction, and it's allowed. And all of these money ritual stories are fiction. Any right-thinking human being knows there is no way you call somebody's name and money appears, except
Don't say that,
No, hold on. It's like we have in the Western world, we watch vampires, we watch their sci-fi movies, we watch the witches flying with the brooms and Harry Potter and all of that. Do you go around flying with the brooms? So the problem isn't about what they are watching, because the storytellers are telling the stories based on demand. If they put out a movie out there tomorrow and it's not bought, nobody buys that movie. Tomorrow they will not repeat it. They find another story. But people are buying that movie because it's, you know, it's like an escape from the reality of what you know.
That you can actually kill somebody to get rich.
I know, and I understand. Hold on, I understand that it's not the kind of value we want as a society. Okay, but let's start by addressing the real problem, and not even the movies for a start, because we can always have fiction.
Okay, so
and fiction is allowed.
So the Nigerian police will tell you, oh, they caught XYZ for money ritual. They found human parts on them. And when you hear those kind of stories, how do you reconcile them with what Nollywood is projecting? So if the Honorable is saying that there's nothing like that, but when police arrest some of these cultists, they tell us they find skulls.
Yes,
they find them with shrine. They catch these things, the bones of human remains and the shrine. So when you see that, you don't think, okay, when the Honorable says it's not true, well, how do you match both perspectives? Let me hear your thoughts, Nima.
I patronize Nollywood.
Okay.
I don't do all the foreign movies. So I can attest to this statement. Because I remember that at a particular point in time when, especially the Yoruba movies, which I love, whenever they come here, I ask, why do you make crime so easy in the movies? How does it become an option? As in the way they carry the gun, and they will find a very nice looking lady in the Yoruba movie industry, and then she will suddenly carry the gun so well in the movies. She's bouncing everywhere, and they make it so easy. Because the people continue to see these things, and then the more I watched it, the more it just became the reality around. Every young, simple guy, every day, front page, they're doing cultism. Front page, 2 cult groups are dragging cutlasses. Before you know it, the Aye and Aye confraternity backlash every time has moved closer to Lagos. Right. It's left the university, it's become street gang war, everything has become our reality, and we cannot run away from that. It is largely, I could put it at 50% the blame on the movies that made it normal. Because every time they do it, when we watched Omogeto, it was even still a comedy style. I can give you an endless list of movies where street gang war, people just from nowhere wearing different colors, and it make it normal for young people to come out and face each other and be saying, I want Yomi. And these things now, when you pass through a relay area and the Alafia area, it's normal for these streets not to like people on this street, and they have uniforms. And that's how cultism became our reality. From the movies, drug abuse, prostitution, trafficking. They made it normal, because in the movies, you will see a young girl who, in a long part of the movie, a larger chunk of the part of the movie, the person thrived on these hills. And then maybe at the bottom end, we don't allow it.
There are two sides of this.
We don't allow it when it becomes to the consequence. When it comes to the consequence part, you just see that person the consequence is downplayed.
I don't agree with you. I don't believe that the movie
How many of these movies do you watch?
The movie producers did not come up with these ideas to pollute the world. They saw it. The movies reflected the reality they saw.
The society, yes.
The society connected with it and bought into it. The market was there. They fed it. The minister should stop complaining. The minister has a responsibility to spread the right information by funding people that will give that knowledge and give that the movies that he feels would promote the right values. When they wanted to fight the war, I heard that in the US, because they wanted to recruit soldiers into the army, they sponsored movies that portrayed the sacrifice of soldiers, the US Army, made it feel like this is a patriotic thing for you to do. It was sponsored by the state, it was sponsored by the government, so as to get loyal and willing American citizens to decide to go into the army. When you want to change a society, we know that movie changes the narrative. His job as the minister is to push the right information. How is he doing that? Not by complaining about the movies. Work with them. Sponsor their movies. Influence their stories. The NOI is on that end. The NOI, the Nigerian Orientation NIO, the NOA.
Orientation Agency.
Is under the Ministry of Information. So he has that. It's part of his duty.
No, but this is the Minister for Work.
So I have 2 things to say quickly. The first is, when you watch the movie from the beginning to the end, no matter how much time it's given, because the movie depicts like 15 years, 20 years, whatever years, at the end, there are always consequences for all those ills.
Not all.
No, hold on. The ones I have watched, which teaches that this is not the way to go.
Yeah.
You can now say it should be elongated, but then when you are always watching consequences, what's the interesting part of it? That's one. Secondly, the movie business, it's a business. These guys are struggling to make ends meet. They invest a lot into the production. And so they are going to feed the market what will pay them back. I shot a movie that I did not make 50 kobo from because I was trying, hold on, I was trying to shoot something that was right. If I had sold something else, I would have made my money back. So when you are giving this kind of advice, what alternative are you giving to them so that if you want to give healthy movies, like Tope said, to the, to the community, it will be funded by the government to support them.
Okay, let me quickly respond to Tope before I respond to you. So, Tope, America didn't just go and do movies that Americans should see their soldiers being, they increase, motivation for their soldiers by providing housing and all the other works. Fine. And then they also opened visa to other poor countries for their people to be able to come so that they could have manpower for their army, check in their army. Most of the people are foreigners. Nigerians are plenty there. And quickly to you, movie producers should be patriotic in their thinking. And yes, they should be. They should be patriotic in their thinking. If now we are seeing the repercussion of what you've promoted. And in most movies, sometimes they go to church and get away with it. Somebody who has stolen, they repent and get away with crime. People rape people in movies. In Yoruba movie, and the person is later repercussion, they leave him for God, and the person gets away with it. So we now see rape as a norm, and people will even come and tell you that, at that moment, I can pay, people negotiate such
we have to go on a break. We have to go on a break.
It is from the movies.
We have to remind
the
ourselves
mindset
that media can set an agenda.
Yes.
And movies can also do exactly the same thing.
Yes.
How we project our movies is exactly a reflection of our society.
Yes.
Now, what kind of society do you see? Is it the society that is showing in Nollywood or the society you hope to see? Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll discuss and get more phone calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we've been hearing different angles, and I think I mentioned to the ladies that I'm working on a research paper on this because I sincerely believe that Nollywood has not even started to scratch the surface of the kind of power it has to feed the Nigerian public the kind of energy that we need to actually build a better society. But my worry, however, is the fact that we don't have, those producing the movies do not have that sense of responsibility to the Nigerian public. That's my own position. Because yes, you want to make money. Yes, you want to be creative. But at the same time, give us options. That's why we're doing Your View for heaven's sakes. We are giving people options. Things are different. So you want to do a movie that have ritual killing. Okay, do another movie that shows people solving problems the proper way. We have I'm talking about what we're doing.
You and I are on the same page with this
what
story.
we're trying to do
I strongly
is
believe
project the right attitude and ethical issues for Nigerians.
I strongly believe that we should do this. I totally believe that our movies should reflect our aspiration, that we should set and build dreams for our children to live up to. Create the grandeur plan that even you don't believe, but your children will be able to manifest it. I 100% believe that. But when we are hungry at the moment, and people need to feed themselves, the industry needs to be fed. There is no, so every time you interview, every time for the past 6 years, we interview any celebrity or movie producer, they tell you, we fund ourselves. We don't get loans. We have to scrap everything we have together. Sometimes we do the movies, it doesn't pay. So they look for movies that will sell. And the truth is the market wants this gory.
We are the ones that want it.
No, market no want time.
You don't want it.
Hold on a minute. We had here. MME's song was here. And look at the movies that she's produced. And she's not telling you she was begging for food. But the movies that we are talking about are the ones that promoters fund. Now, when promoters fund this movie, there's a particular Yoruba producer that whenever I see him in the movie, even this Yahoo Plus thing, I saw it first in the movie before I read it in the papers, before it became a reality and a norm on the street. I saw it in the movie where a guy was doing the Yahoo, and then in the movie, a Babalawo backed him up, and his Yahoo was selling faster.
But it's the reality now.
This particular Yoruba guy in his movies would be cooked up, and then he would do crime for a longer period, and the consequence will just be at the end of the movie. How about writing movies that, to promote the ills and the failure of it? When I was a child,
Let me take a call. Joshua. Joshua, are you there? Thanks for calling, Joshua. Hello, Joshua, are you there?
And yes, I'm there.
Go ahead, please. You're live.
Good morning, Mariah, and
Morning,
good
sir.
morning to every other lady there.
Yes.
I want to say that the minister should be commended very well for saying what he said and for saying it very accurately. These Nollywood movies, they are misdirecting the public. They are sending out junks just because they want to make money. Everyone is looking the other way about the ills and the damages that these things are doing to the society. Our values are not being projected by those Nollywood movies. Those are not values of human beings. I'm so amazed that Christians, Muslims, people of faith are arguing that ritual, money ritual is a real thing. It works. We are on social media and we are tackling it, and people are citing examples of who did it and succeeded just because of these movies that are being projected. Please let an agenda be set, as Morayo said, so that we can begin to speak through the right values and give the society a new lease of life. Thank you,
sir. Yes.
So I wouldn't want us to just do selective judgment when it comes to this. We have movies, Nigerian movies, that show us politicians embezzling money. Nobody has stood up to complain about that, because it has to do with, this the particular set of people who handle this. Nobody talks about it. We have people who are suffering on the street. We see them in the movies. Nobody talks about it. We have people who are doing amazing. We see medical doctors, female, male, in the movies. Nobody talks about it. So if we want to judge that which I believe that we need to be deliberate about what we put out there, it should be holistic. So we have to clear all of the systems, everything that is working, because the truth is, it's okay for us to sit here and talk about what is ideal. What we are seeing in our society is real. And that is what most of these movie producers present.
Okay, so
those who want to do the ideal, we do the ideal of where everything is working fine.
I like us to compartmentalize these issues. But first, let me take Yakub. He's been holding for a while. Yakub, are you there?
Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
And good morning to your call.
Yeah.
I think I totally agree with the Honorable Minister. It is only Nigeria that you start watching a movie, and then you can only tell where the movie is going to end. Because if I start watching Nigerian movies today, I will tell you, Morayo, this is where the movie is heading to. That is number one. Number two, it's not all of them that's producing nonsense. Let me give you a typical example here. Go and watch all the movies that are produced by Tunde Kelani. You will love to watch every production that demanded. Thunderbolt, I can go on and go on. Not only even movies. When we are talking about music in this country, you'll be here, Ido Kodida, Ido Kodiri, Awotemi Sache, all those nonsense. Who is controlling them? Who is controlling the movie? Who is controlling the music? Go and listen to Barista today. If you listen to Babelega, you listen to Ayinla Omowura, you will see some certain things here. Not only these are generators that is producing all sorts of nonsense. If you listen to Barista, the music that the man produced is still valid up to today.
All right, thank you very much, Jacob. What I was saying earlier was in compartmentalizing. We're not saying that Nollywood should not be creative. Yeah. We're not saying they shouldn't produce movies they feel is
that show reality,
that shows reality, yes, or is viable. We're not saying that. All we're saying is identify the problem. What's our problem? A lot of youngsters are looking for that quick fix. Yes. Quick money. People who are working are thinking, there's got to be one big money out there. I saw my husband having a conversation. I'm hey, this thing, how are we going to make this money? I said, bros, let's just, but you get to a phase in your life where you start asking yourself that question, how are we going to get to the next level? Yes. It happens. But when it is reinforced, what your options are, okay, there's rituals here, okay, there's Yahoo there, okay, I can actually work, I can actually work and ensure and build over time. The options are there. What I think the minister is saying, yes, it is obviously an option that people consider, but Nollywood can do a better job if you continually reinforce it.
Nobody here disagrees with the minister.
No, we don't.
Nobody here disagrees with the minister.
We're not putting the buck on. We're not putting the entire buck on Nollywood's that is not their responsibility. They're not responsible. Yes. There are other factors. Yes. But it's just one of it. That's what we're saying. Yes.
Yes. So I feel that people do evil because there's evil within them. I've watched a lot of ritual movies and I've been dead broke sometimes. and I never thought that I would
That's
go and kill
values.
somebody to get what I want. So there must be some inherent evil within you that will make you consider doing those things and see it as an option. But and I agree that we need to increase more content. The society needs to begin to pay for value.
Yeah.
And celebrity artists will say it, musicians will say that when I was singing good songs, I did not blow.
Yes, no.
The day I sang, everybody go crazy, everybody shake it, it went viral. So when the society rewards crime, when the society rewards you that are doing, when you make money anyhow and you get chieftaincy title, when you make money anyhow, nobody asks any question.
That is what the minister is trying to drive at.
And we hail you regardless.
And we're enforcing that in our movies. That's what he's saying.
No, but the movie is reflecting
reality. So, you see,
it's happening.
now, do we need to continually reflect that reality?
I don't understand.
Is that we can.
That's an arguable,
That's
it's an arguable perspective.
Yeah, we need to have more patriots. Not everybody will go into business with the aim of adding value. Some people go to business just to make money.
Yeah.
So some
I
of
think
us
I have
are
a
thinking we
call.
want to add value in the way of making money.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we must find that, but we must raise people that will be able to say, anything I want to do must be ethical, it must add value to the society.
Right.
I must think
Let me
that
take
like
this call. I
that.
think hello, good morning, are you there? Oh, I'm sorry I lost that call.
Thank you for eventually landing here. So,
Yes.
ethics, morals.
Yeah.
See, when I was growing up, even our Tales by Moonlight stories that we sit as children to watch were constantly highlighting morals to the point that we were so cooked up with the proper values. And when it became popular to have our moral side degrading, those of us who were properly cooked up, we were wondering, are you all right? This is not about religion. This is about what is right or wrong. Now, these days, when you see the movies make it more popular, the things that were done in secret became when we had Princess on the show, the only reason I spoke out was because the things that were done in shame and in secret were the things that we're popularizing here. Before it becomes our reality and our norms, somebody had to speak up that this is not normal to most people.
Okay.
So that is
we have
what
to
movies do eventually. And I'd like to call out the Video Censors Board, because when Tokwe mentioned that, what do the Video Censors Board really do? The NBC, what's the one? The NBC for content on musical content and musical videos. What are they doing exactly? The National Orientation Agency. These are the bodies that government had put in place to make sure that what we had, instead of closing up TV by 4 p.m. and 24 hours TV can run, these people will check what
We have to run,
content
unfortunately.
will be on those
Let me take a few tweets
platforms.
and I can run.
Okay, so Orin says, I agree with Nima. A particular actor brought out a movie and the title of the movie was used. The title the movie used had a cult name till now all over Lagos. Oyedamola says, Oyedamo Rolake says, our ministers are clueless. In Olympus has fallen. The White House was attacked, but that doesn't portray the reality. Some Nigerian movies are just projecting what is happening in the society we refuse to speak about, truth be told.
Ibeneme says, as much as we understand that the media is a mirror of the society, we must define the narrative that Nigerians will watch. The minister at Tunde Fashola on this issue is 100% right. Let's start getting things
I have
right.
to go on a break, unfortunately, but when we come back, we're going to bring in our guest. She's an amazing woman doing amazing things. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. There is a stereotype that male folks find their strength in science and technology, while the female, for some reason, we just never really get on in that class. Today's show, our guests will be highlighting the importance of young women getting involved in science and technology. Joining us on the show is an information technology and security expert, Sherifat Akinwumi. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you. You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Before we get into the high-tech conversation, I'd like to hear your thoughts on our last topic, when the Honorable Minister was saying that Nollywood should take a bit more responsibility and stop portraying movies that have money rituals. What do you think about that?
Well, I think just like with every other thing, it has the good side and the bad side.
Right.
So while movies may portray some certain aspect, there are some good parts to movie. A more disturbing one is social media. So if you say movies are portraying, bad habits, what about social media? A lot of people post things and some people just see it and then take it like that. So yes, as an individual, you should be able to know what is right and what is wrong, basically.
So every one of us should have actually those ethical standards.
Yes.
Your own compass.
You have your own compass,
Okay,
exactly.
all right. So going into science and tech, tell us a bit about yourself, because before we even get into what you do, because I know that you are in charge of JSK, Mauritius, and Lagos, the whole of South Africa, the whole works. You're a big guest. But before we even get into that, how did you start in that line of science and technology? A lot of young people are afraid of that subject. They're afraid of even getting involved in IT, and they feel it's just they are such a minority. They don't even bother. How did you stay in that class, and how did you maneuver your way to the top?
Well, growing up, you know, there's just been that thinking that when you're a very good student, by default, you'll be assigned in science class. So by virtue of that, I found myself in science class. I did sciences, and then I finished. And when I graduated, I love maths. I still love maths a lot. So I actually wanted to study computer science, or I didn't want to do medicine, anything like that, because it wasn't my thing at all. So I looked around and I was like, okay, what else can I do in science? I can't sit down and be solving maths. I don't want to be a teacher either. So I went into computer science. I applied to go into computer science at OAU, but unfortunately I was given an engineering course. And then because I didn't want to do that, I left my second year and I went to a private university where I got to study computer science.
Bowen University.
Bowen University, yes. And then I graduated from that, and I finished with the first class. Wow. And my dad was proud and said, okay, why not go for your master's? Thank you. And then I was opportune to go for my master's in information security management in University of Salford. And then
you came back home and got a job, right?
Yes.
Distinction.
So
I had a distinction.
So you had a distinction?
Yes.
Fantastic. So did they poach you from the US, or did you apply also from the UK, or did you come to Nigeria first and get into the system and now apply for a job? Because people always have that difficulty, especially those coming back home.
Yes.
How did you do it?
So I had not served before going for my master's degree, because I left the same year I graduated from university. So I came back home and I wanted to serve. Okay. So because I had computer science degree and also with my master's, they posted me to an IT of a bank.
Oh, okay.
I started off with Stanbic IBTC.
Oh, nice.
So I worked in the IT department for my service year. I got retained right after, and then I started off from there.
Oh, fantastic.
So I'm curious, because I know that back in secondary school, when they share you into your classes, the science class, the social sciences, the arts class, the very fly students are always in the arts. Now, the science students somehow are just those they are mostly nerds with the glasses and all of that. So it's not really interesting. And even when you get into the university, it's not interesting for somebody, a young girl who wants to live like a girl, to be in the sciences. What are you doing as a role model to support some of these students who, they have a flair for science, they have the brain to carry it, but at the same time, they still want to look fly?
Yes, I would say what are the things that can be done. So there could be, situations where those of us in the field can go, if it's a day, in 3 months, in a quarter, and go to schools and talk to them and tell them that I am a woman in STEM. I'm a woman and I'm in technology, and this is what I do. And do I look fly? Yes. So, mere speaking to them, mere talking to them, and they can see a role model and see, okay, this is someone, she's living a good life, not necessarily a nerd, and she's in science. That goes a long way in shaping their imagination, in shaping what they want to do. And then they can actually see that I can live my life and also do what I want to do.
So I did sciences, and in
Lab, I think.
in secondary school, it was interesting. Yeah. But when I wanted to apply into the university, I struggled with JAM, and I had to now just look for any other course that we can just struggle to pass. So I ended up in science laboratory technology. And my studying now as an adult, I realized that the teachers didn't care about how you would assimilate the knowledge. Their aim was just to dump the information on you. Anyhow you want to get it, get it. Was that the same experience you had? When you went into school, was it that the style they taught you, you connected with it all through, or you just rather liked reading? Because it makes people understand that I'm studying psychology now, and I'm feeling like, okay, maybe if I had focused in school, I'll have finished and done that, I'll have passed very well. But what was your own experience, and how would someone struggling academically now, what would you tell that person to help the person finish with a first class?
Sadly, what you described is what is obtainable in most federal institutions, state-owned universities, where the lecturers just want to pass on the information and then dump it and then you sort yourself out. But from my experience, being private university, it was actually the second year, the second graduating set. So, we were few. So there was a bit more focus on trying to make sure we were involved and, so I wouldn't be able to really say I had that experience. But yes, during my first year in OAU, it was just about how many of us in the class. Imagine a whole amphitheater with lots of people and the lecturer is just talking. So you have to put that additional effort. You have to, even the private university, you have to put that additional effort. If you know you don't want to have a tutu, or you want to make a pact, you want to really distinguish yourself, you have to put that additional effort. You have to enjoy what you're doing and also invest your time and resources.
So I've seen you inspire young girls. I saw you at There to Inspire, and I saw the crowd of young girls, all of them screaming and trying to be like you. But then I wondered if your family members found it okay for you to want to do science, especially our mothers that wanted their daughters in the kitchen and prepared them for husband house. Were you wife material at the time you wanted to marry with a tech degree and your tech inclinations? Were you husband material at the time of marriage?
Yes, definitely. I think I was. I am.
Do you like?
Yes, I love cooking. My hobbies. I really love. I enjoy cooking. But to the fact, what you said about our parents, so I never had that experience, being that my dad was well educated. He rose to the level of an executive director of the United Bank of Africa till he retired. So it was like, it was not negotiable that you be a kitchen. He gladly sponsored my master's degree abroad, which was, a lot of money then. So I knew that I had no option. I will be a wife, fine, I am a wife, but at the same time, I should have the possibility, I should have that need and I want to grow, to develop myself. Yes, exactly.
All right, I know today is International Day of Women and Girls in Science, and we're trying to also help young people understand that this career is worth getting into. Could you share a bit of experience in GSK? And I know that, especially as somebody having that kind of portfolio, South Africa, Mauritius, Lagos, and all that, how did you get to that level where you had, and what exactly what's the scope of work exactly? So when somebody listening to you can say, okay, I want to be like her. What's your scope of duty handling that portfolio?
Okay, so I presently look after technology for Nigeria, South Africa, and Mauritius. And before then, I was looking after Nigeria, West Africa, and Nigeria and the rest of West Africa, not the Francophone countries. And basically, what my job entails is to help business to the next level using technology. Right. So basically business partnering. One thing we all need to know about technology or any aspects of work is that you are there to support the business. Right. So if whatever you're doing does not align with the business objective, then you need to check what you're doing. So what is my role? I'll give an example. One of the GSK's objectives is, okay, we want to be able to ensure that our patients get the right medicines and they're able to live longer and do better. How do I, as the tech manager, support that business objective? I have to go back, step back and think about what technology innovation or ideas can I provide to the business so they can use that to reach patients.
Do you have challenges with men? Sorry, I'll come to you. Men issues, competition, being the boss. Being the boss. Do you find it difficult listening to what I'm talking to me about?
Well, I'll say
outside the country, Nigeria?
Not really. GSK, funny enough, is, to even be very absorbed of you to discriminate anybody. So okay, being a global institute, we don't have that. Okay. But in the past, I was, before joining GSK, I was at an interview and the recruiting manager asked me a very funny question and said, that you're a woman now, I hope you're not coming now and get pregnant.
Hey, Jesus Christ.
I was like, really? I didn't want to have more children, even at that time. But the question just caught me unawares. This is inappropriate.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. So you know that this STEM we talk about, that's the science, technology, engineering, math, is a tool for development and competitiveness. And countries that have gone way above in technology have a lot of their women involved, like countries like China, Japan, and all of that. The workforce in the sciences, they have a lot of women. Now, what do you think because I was in a conference with other African nationals, and there were a lot of women in the sciences compared to what we have in Nigeria. And they are actually developing if you go through their data. So what do you think we can do as a nation to support a lot of women getting into the sciences? Because the truth is, you catch them from secondary school. And in secondary school, we have a lot of them in classes who are actually very interested in the subject. But somewhere along the line, when it's time to get into the university, they just go the other way.
Yeah. So for a nation or even an organization, they have to realize that the world population, at least 50% are women. So by the time you don't encourage women to get into technology, who's going to bring the ideas that will suit women or that will solve problems of women? Not the men, definitely. They can try, but a woman can bring more ideas because she's living it. She's an example. She can say that let's launch this product that will talk to these women, that will solve this problem for women. And when your product or your idea solves the problem, it's bound to sell. So when people realize that, then they can do more and focus more on women. They can go to school. They can encourage young people, you know, to do more, to speak, even if, you know, do so many
Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Yes. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I really want to appreciate your view crew, Rayo, and the rest of the girls. You are actually doing a very wonderful job.
Thank you.
I really like your topic today. It actually connects with me, you know, in everything I do. I'm a PhD holder in media psychology. And for the fact that you are bringing Sherry Pat onto your program today, I also have another point of connection there. My university here is the University of Salford. So as Salfordians, I'm bringing, one good tidings to you, and for doing us proud. On the topics of, the portrayal of violence and what have you in the Nigerian Nollywood, I would really want us to, take all the points, highlighted by Nima. They are very cogent points in view of, the discussion. I wouldn't want to, talk too much on that. She has actually elaborated, and spoke eloquently on the topic. As if she's an expert on the subject. I really want to give it to her. And I also really want to take some cue from, Obiageli's, talk, especially with regards to the role of the censor board and, National Orientation Agency. I wouldn't want us to, play lip service with what some of these portrayals. They are actually real. We talk about, media effects. And of course, it has been, a long topic, right from the beginning of, the industry, starting from radio, television, and right now, even up to the internet era.
Right.
So
Thank you so much, Wale. Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask you a question. Parental involvement and parental follow-up. You had a supportive, obviously, from your story, a supportive parents, people that were willing to say, this is not the course she wants to do, let's take her to where she wants to study. What's the impact you see? And I see, and from your CV and your report that we've read about you, obviously you involved with a lot of girls, trying to encourage them to get more into science. What has been the feedback you get from girls as the reason they probably didn't want to pursue sciences? And how do you think parents can engage their words more into getting more involved in science?
Good question. So I was at a conference the other day, and one of the kids told me that I'm really interested in coding, but my mother won't allow me. She thinks I'm going to be a Yahoo.
They will.
And I was like, just get me her phone number. Let me talk to her. Let me talk to her. That this is the future. She cannot do this. So as a parent, you have to be enlightened. There's no excuse for ignorance. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be able to support your children.
What if someone watching right now isn't an enlightened parent watching this show and is hearing what are the opportunities in the science field for their daughters to tap into? Let's sell STEM to parents watching right now.
STEM, any area in STEM, a woman can play in any area. It's not... I don't see what a man can do that a woman cannot do. We have female engineers, we have female, programmers,
researchers,
we have female security professionals.
Most Nigerians hear STEM and wonder, can you STEM?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what STEM has recently in this present generation been able to solve. Some of our problems in the society that STEM has brought solutions for, and that, you know, people in this area of business are continually growing, that you can highlight.
So STEM is science.
While you're thinking of that, I'll let you take this call while you're thinking of that. Hassan, are you still there? He's been holding for a while.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Hassan. Thanks for calling. Go ahead,
Good
please.
morning, all of you.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Obiajulu, I'm one of your fans.
Thank you.
I'm disappointed today.
Oh, sorry.
You know why?
Why?
People are very good in defending their 18, in defending their constituency.
Okay.
You understand? That is what is killing us in Nigeria today. When it comes to law, you see Nima defending her 18.
I get it.
Oh, are you there?
I think we lost the call.
Mr. Hassan, oh, please try to call back.
Please break down STEM.
Network, yes.
STEM. STEM is everything relating to science, technology, engineering. And what kind of profession comes from STEM? Doctors, engineers, technologists, you know, bankers, all sorts.
Your Facebook
As
is a
it's-
product of STEM.
Exactly. Somebody sat down and wrote that program, and we are all on Facebook. And you can imagine the amount of activity, business happens on Facebook, all sorts of things. We are now in the fourth industrial revolution, and it isn't engineering, it is digital. So that means a lot of problems are going to be solved with digital
Just to add to what you're
innovation.
saying, there's a professor, I read the papers today, there's a professor of criminology, I think in the University of Calabar, he was in the papers today, and he was saying that our problem is not to get more police officers. We don't even need police. What we are recruiting, what we need is technology.
Yes.
To solve this criminal
Intelligence.
we need intelligence.
Exactly.
We need technology to solve our issue of criminality. And we need people to be able to create systems or technology such that you can actually monitor people.
Applications.
You can actually ensure and know what's going on in each the various local governments in the various states just from your computer.
Yeah.
And we're complaining today about the IPPIS that the government had launched, that all salaries are going to be paid through the system. These are part of the things that somebody created software such that you pay salaries and they
Educational
can monitor
reforms.
what's going on.
I'll add to that. Uber does not have a car.
Right.
And now they've disrupted the transportation
Totally.
business. Lots of the yellow cabs are off. Same thing Airbnb. They don't have a single hotel. And the hospitality business, they are running it. This is done by some set of people who saw a need and used technology to solve that problem.
Fantastic. Let me take a call and I'll come to you. Good morning. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
I want to really appreciate you for what you are doing on your view.
Thank you, madam.
Let me quickly talk about the Nollywood stuff.
Yes.
I want to say emphatically that we are not getting value from these people. Talk of all sorts of things. They are the ones that promote nudity. You see them dressing. Morayo, I see the way you dress. I see the way each and every one of you dress. I've never seen any of you bringing out your breast. But these are the things we see in Nollywood. And you see, these are the things our teenagers are copying. All sorts of atrocities you can ever think of is what is being promoted. It is true they want to sell. But at the same time, they should think of the future of our teenagers. That is very important. Then I want to quickly appreciate your guest that you have brought today. At least I've been enlightened a bit. When he was talking about coding and saying that the mother said, no, you are not going to, because you are going to be a Yahoo. My son is currently studying computer sciences, mathematics in OAU. And he came home one day and he said, Mommy, I want to do ethical, what is this? Hacking.
Yes.
I said, no. How can you be an hacker if you see the hack? He said, no, Mommy, there are good ones. I said, okay, what do you do with this thing? And he said that you can work with SDSS, you can work with... I said, no, I don't want you to go and work where they will start pursuing you. But somehow he was able to enlighten me and said, no, Mommy, these are the things that is really... So it's really good when we have somebody like this, especially a woman, coming up. I think these are the things that we encourage our teenagers. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I actually wanted to highlight something she said earlier because it's important that we put things in proper perspective. yes, Nollywood has done theirs, and I don't want us to totally hold Nollywood responsible for everything. Because the same way at Hollywood, yes, there are movies being done, but that same society still produced a Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
So it all goes back to how you train
who you are. The
Each
values you
person.
put in your
So,
children.
yeah. So
So
but at the same time,
when what
you're
you
right.
see
It's
is
definitely
different from what you think.
Many
So
people on Twitter, many
it's
producers on
harder.
Twitter are all for BC and I, saying that it is out of their hands. Whenever they produce good movies,
Which are you reading now?
whenever they produce good
The
movies,
ones I'm reading are for me.
no, whenever they produce good movies, they take it to the marketers. They
Yes.
can't distribute.
They
Like the
can't.
distributors will say, if you don't have comedy,
Yes,
if you don't have nudity, you can't go far.
That
So
is
we need to
why-
get more
oh my
people
goodness,
involved.
I love this subject. This is my area of and that's why we need to stop going to the marketers.
Yeah.
What you need
But
to
how do we break
produce
even?
a movie, you go to the cinemas. That's where you make your
Even
money.
go to
they have a click there.
No, I wait. This is a conversation we need to take outside the stage.
Yes,
but,
yes.
but we need to find a way to boycott these guys.
Yes, because
These
they are the
guys
ones that
cannot call
determine
the
what's
shots.
going
They
on.
can't call the shots for you, but
They
let's
tell
go
you
back-
what to put in each movie.
Let's go back to our guest.
Yes, so
please
I
go
have a
ahead, Ben.
question for you.
Yeah.
So when I went to Dubai, I saw a mobile police station. Nobody there.
Eh?
Yes, so you just go, you type, report
Self-service.
what, yes, self-service, police station. And the fear is we will come to a point when we project digital, this digital era, yes, for a while that people will start losing jobs. And our schools are not equipped to prepare our youths for the jobs of tomorrow.
Jobs are going.
Yes, the jobs are gone already, almost gone already. So as you are in the science, go, what do you think the government can do to, because the truth is you may want sciences, but then you get into the laboratories and there are no equipment for you to work on. How do you learn? And that's the situation we have in our schools today. So what do you think the government can do in this angle?
Definitely. What you said just now, was a topic at one of the leadership team meeting we had in the past at GSK. There's no doubt some jobs are going to go, definitely. But what should be done? We should constantly review the courses being studied in university.
Curriculum.
When there are new programming languages, and at a university they're still teaching Pascal and Basic, which are old programming languages. How do you expect those people to compete in the workplace? So it's now for the regulators, the university, to review the courses. What is going to happen in the next, a lot of predictions have happened, and some jobs are going to be out. They are going to be replaced totally. Alibaba's warehouse, almost the warehouse is managed by robots.
All through.
AliExpress.
Yes, AliExpress, exactly.
Even
Robots,
Amazon.
because robots can work 24/7, they will not get tired. And they work based on rules. So step one, do this. Step two, do this. They will not make mistakes. They will not stop and gist with another person.
Another robot.
wasting
We
time.
have very little time left,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I want you to see you're Nigerian. We're all Nigerians here. Let's
Yes,
bring
sir.
it home. Because there are problems that technology can solve. And I'd like you to help us highlight some of these problems that we see every single day.
Please let me quickly come in before we go there, because BC asked the question on how to deal with the challenge in schools.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I speak at events, a lot of events with young people, and I hear this story, so I don't want it to hang like that.
Yeah.
I tell people that are complaining, my school doesn't have equipment, my school doesn't have gadgets. Everything you need to learn in this world is on the internet. Watch YouTube videos, use Google, it is your friend. You can get the latest codes and how to do it from, so you might be in school to get a certificate because really we need it. But in STEM, certificate is nothing if you can't do it.
practical
So
aspect.
practice by going online.
And all these
localize
resources are
problem.
free. They are
Yes,
very
a lot
free
of
on the
them are free.
internet.
A lot of
So
them.
we have issues of recycling. We have issues of
Waste
cars being
management.
parked on the road, and you have the decomposing
educational sector.
tires. We have so many problems. We have traffic issues.
Give me an app.
We need. Now, my question to you: all these issues we see, refuse. Can technology solve that problem? Because maybe parents who can begin to see that possibility can encourage their children in that line. So if they see that, okay, my children can solve problems, can technology solve issues of refuse, environmental degradation, issues of waste and traffic issues that we're having,
education.
Sewage.
And how can technology help?
Yeah, technology can help, what digital is, the definition of digital is doing something better, basically. That is it. You're doing 1 + 1 adding, but the moment you digitalize it, it becomes simpler and more efficient. I'll take security as an example. One quick win for Nigeria is the ability to gather the data of over almost 200 million people that we have, such that one person can be uniquely identified. If there's anything security-wise, they can pinpoint that person up to his home address and whatever relation and get hold of that person. I really don't know why we haven't gotten that right. We have BVN, we have NIN numbers, all sorts of numbers. Why can't we put that together and digital and have one central source for, to take care of all the citizens of Nigeria? And that way, you want to rent a house, you want to buy a car, you breach traffic laws. You can easily control that area. When we get that out of the way, we've solved a lot of
the problem.
And that's the problem somebody watching can solve.
Let's take a few tweets, please. We have to run. I think
we have tweets. So VIH says Nigeria is static today because we have refused to embrace technology. The only way to fight corruption and put things in place. The government and politicians know this, and they do all to decline any suggestions towards technology. Okay. Mabwala says, okay.
Christine Shaibu says, loving your guest today, Sharifa Akiwumi, great role model for women in science. Yaro says, some jobs have to go for technology. Tech brings development and we need to embrace it here in Nigeria.
Fantastic. That's all we can take. But thank you so much for joining us. It was such a pleasure having you. Any more tweets?
Yes, Abdullahi says, was talking on the films. All these films are available to download at any given time. And the damages this film and television program cause to the society is enormous. Somebody else is also praising our guest today. They're loving you. Everybody on Instagram on Twitter is loving you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
On that note, that's all we can take. We have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is our Wednesday live show, right?
Yes.
So come early so you can get a seat, okay? See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.